There's death, there's destruction.
Global news impacts us.
We have to change the way we live.
This is why we need independent media.
Hey everyone, this is Kit Cabela with Hard Lens Media. We hope you had a wonderful weekend. I'm joined here today with Daniel Upker, manning the board as our tech priest insincere phase. We also got our wonderful moderators who are keeping the peace. Again, we are live every Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube, on Odyssey, and here on Rockfin as well. So again, we are very grateful for all your support. And plus, I do want to give a very special announcement to some of our new Patreon supporters. In fact, Daniel, you just messaged me that we do have a new Patreon supporter. So let's go ahead and bring up that person's name. And again, we are grateful for everyone's support.
Yes.
We know that times are tough, so if you can't be a Patreon supporter, that's fine. Share our content on social media. The point is, we want to build this studio up and do so much with all your support, and because of that, we're just grateful for it. So first, special shout out to Charmaine Fultz, $1 per month. Thank you so much. We're grateful for your support. Plus, shout out to these wonderful Patreon supporters. Again, without these people here on this list, well, I don't think the lights would be on, the mics would not be on, nothing would be on. So shout out to E.T. Viglis, Arto Javier, Marlis, Catherine Rose, Cadets, Adrian Moran, Jose Garcia, Crone of Anarchy, Jeffrey Zachary, Jeffrey Bradina, John Stradula, Susan Singer, SCPM, Jose Manuel Lanza Jr., Susan Brown, Setimo Cantalina, Ray Passage, and Mike Manchin. Thank you, or Mike Manchin. Hopefully, no relations to Senator Joe Manchin. But thank you so much for your support. We're grateful for everyone's support. And again, check out our website, check out our Discord, our Twitter page, our Rockfin link, our Odyssey link in the description box below. We do have a Patreon show today. Should be a little bit of fun. Should be fun for you all. So again,
We got some stuff to talk about.
Yep. And again, as always, let's all just keep on doing what we have to do to build that better future. But I think we should get started with our first segment, unless you got any announcements you want to bring up, Daniel.
I hope everyone's having a good day. It seems like the world is getting slightly better as it continues to fall apart, so enjoy that.
Oh, real quick, too, I also want to make this announcement that, again, July 24th, we will be part of the March for Medicare for All. Again, this is an event that's happening all across the country, and it just can't be one march. It has to be a continuous march. It has to be a continuous push for Medicare for All, because we need to fight for it.
And we've been invited as keynote speakers, so if you are in Chicago and do want to attend, we will be speaking.
Yeah, we'll be there, and there will be also a whole bunch of other speakers as well, activists, candidates that are running for office, people who've been really speaking truth to power, and it should be a very fun event, but it's more than just fun. This is about fighting for Medicare for All in the richest country in the world, and again, July 24th. So check your area. It's probably happening, and if it's not happening, time to step up. Let's make sure that no one deals with medical debt anymore. But now, let's get started with our first segment. So, Daniel, you wouldn't believe it. I was on Twitter the other day. And, I'm pretty sure our good friend, our tech priest sincere phase, will pull up our first tweet. But before we pull it up, I do talk about how and other channels have brought this up too. Mm-hmm. And even you on the show as well. Like, occasionally we see progressives who tweet out feel-good tweets like, oh, what does a UBI mean to you? What does Medicare for All mean to you? What does staying in your home mean to you? What does student debt forgiveness mean to you? Well, it means a lot because people don't have it, but quit tweeting about it,
What does ethically bombing mean to you? How many rainbows do we put on the bombs?
Well, so, yeah.
For every kid killed, do we give 2 other kids teddy bears? What does it mean to you?
Well, we'll let you decide, but here's something again, and I'm very curious to how the progressives in the House and Senate, what they're thinking, because it's quite clear that either they're blind or they're so used to, people's obedient support that they're willing to risk and tweet out anything. But let's face it, maybe it's not a maybe. The mask is coming off, and Khanna, I'm wondering if you'll ever go on Jimmy Dore's show again. So let's pull up this tweet, because this right here is the biggest load of BS I've ever seen. So Bill Kristol, for all of you who don't know who he is, well, he's one of the key people who is helping push the war in Iraq. He's an Iraq warmonger.
American corporations made a lot of money thanks to that man.
So Khanna tweeted this out. He tweeted this out. Bill Kristol is one of the most thoughtful voices in defending liberalism and democratic institutions in our country. Learned a lot in our conversation about shaping also an inclusive narrative around American patriotism. Well, you don't say. Gosh, jolly gee willikers. Now, let's also, hold on. There's more. Are you sitting down?
I'm trying.
Are you sitting down? Hold on, because here's another little tweet. Faze, let's pull this up. So here we go. I was a strong and early critic of the war in Iraq, and Kristol and I have very different worldviews on foreign policy. But to have a discussion about strengthening liberalism and liberal institutions with people you disagree is, in my view, needed in a pluralistic democracy. Well, yes and no. Because here's the thing. Bill Kristol and people in the Republican establishment, Democratic establishment, they've had this policy of continuous regime change wars, silencing whistleblowers, being pro-censorship. Yeah, that's right. Republican lawmakers are also pro-censorship. Democratic lawmakers pro-censorship.
What? They're acting the same way on the issue that is about their control of power? I don't believe it.
Well, hold on, Daniel. I want you to do a countdown for me. So hold on. Check this out. Did you know that Democratic and Republican lawmakers, hold on, not yet. I want you to actually hold up the number. So hold on. Democratic and Republican lawmakers, number one, they get donations from big fossil fuel. Number two, they get money from the military-industrial complex. Number three, they get money from the prison-industrial complex. Number four, they get money from Wall Street executives. Number five, they get money from big banks. And all the rest.
I thought that was pretty decent.
But hey, I wonder if this conversation came up between Representative Khanna and Bill Kristol. Let's pull up this tweet from Bill Kristol. I mean, let's face it. I mean, this, let's read this tweet out. Let's check this out. One reason I'm for D.C. statehood. Okay, interesting. The growth in the size of the republic. Oh, ancient Rome. The republic. And our distinctive manner of growth in admitting states with equal status has always been a sign of our vigor. 60 years at 50 states is enough. Time for D.C., Puerto Rico, Cuba as soon as it's free. Hold on.
One of those does not fit the other.
Hold on. Time for D.C., Puerto Rico, Cuba as soon as it's free. One or
we
two
want
more.
our vacation grounds back, even if it means supplanting a country.
Now, wait a minute, audience. I'm not the smartest person in the room ever. Dare I say it, Internet, you are better than me. Let's keep this tweet on it, because again, time for D.C. statehood, Puerto Rico, Cuba, as soon as it's free. So let's have democracy in the chat here real quick. Type 1, if Cuba is already free. Type 2, who the hell are we to ever even say that another country should join the United States? What the hell is this madness?
And by the way, what about like Guam or like the American Samoa? That seems like in the line.
But another thing too, Representative Khanna, I mean, really? Bill Kristol, the warmonger? The same guy who's going to gladly tweet out, now look, I understand freedom of speech. I've got to be consistent. Everyone has a right to be an idiot. If you're going to tweet out something stupid, go ahead and do it. But here you have your wonderful friend Bill Kristol saying Cuba. What does that mean? Because we've been hearing a lot of media reports about how you have some conservative people calling for U.S. military interventionism in Cuba.
By the way, when they was talking about balance, is he trying to go back to Cuba will be a Republican state because all the rich families are going to go back there and get their land back?
Yeah, and
is that what he's saying?
By the way, again, with what we're seeing here with our representatives, they're tone deaf, and this is going to come back to bite them very hard, especially during the 2022 midterm election cycle. Again, I'm not a Democratic voter. I'm not a Republican voter. But seeing this, again, from somebody like Representative Khanna, who should, in theory, know better, says a lot about his mindset and who he talks to. So everyone, pretend to be shocked when, our progressive lawmakers say, oh, you got to help us because the Republicans, they want to bring back Trump. Well, here you have a Democratic lawmaker saying that Bill Kristol is a very thoughtful person defending liberalism. Well, let's talk about liberalism here in the United States. We don't have Medicare for all. We don't have student debt forgiveness. We don't have affordable college. We don't have any kind of infrastructure put in place that's really going to make our lives easier at this point. We're not doing anything about climate change. You still have people talking about doing regime change wars. Your pal, Representative Khanna, Bill Kristol, saying, hey, Cuba, a sovereign country. Why? But obviously, maybe this is asking too much from our quote-unquote progressive lawmakers because they just don't give a damn. Daniel.
So I was going to say, Cuba, first of all, exports doctors. America really needs some doctors. Cuba has really good life expectancy compared to the U.S., which is losing life expectancy. And yeah, Cuba has a lot of problems with their government. Do not get me wrong on that. There are people, they don't have the same choice in tomato sauce that we do in many other ingredients. There are problems with all governments across the world. But this is really just the U.S.'s mindset after the Spanish-American War, where we had Cuba and we lost it and we just haven't gotten over it since. You know what we should do, though? I do agree with him on? Make D.C. a state, make Puerto Rico a state, and clear Puerto Rico's debt while you're at it. And then maybe something will get done in Congress, although we kind of know that it won't. And then maybe focus on some of our... Because America, it's an empire. We have a lot of territories. We don't call them colonies anymore. We call them territories. Very big difference. We got a lot of other territories. Let them be states. And then once you go through all of them, then you fix up America, and you do it during this time as well. And then maybe at that point, you don't have to worry about getting Cuba because your country's doing okay.
You know, again, with these are progressive lawmakers, who, again, Ro Khanna, Daniel, he says he's progressive. He was part of Bernie Sanders' campaign. Am I wrong? Am I right? Yeah, he was.
Oh, very progressive. I mean, I've heard it from everyone's mouth.
Right, right. So the thing is, Representative Ro Khanna, while you were talking with your good pal Bill Kristol, since you didn't really attend the Force the Vote town hall that had 100,000 plus people attend, that was live. Maybe, I don't know, you can attend the March for Medicare for All, maybe support it, but maybe that's a mountain too high.
There's 100 Cuban protesters somewhere in Florida that he has to go make sure he supports because, as you guys know, I was actually thinking on this. If the AOC was ever interviewed by us or someone else, I'd like to have like a whiteboard that really goes over the math on this, and that is, hey AOC, so you put out a tweet for 100 Cubans protesting in Florida and another 100 protesting in Cuba. What's the ratio? Because you don't always talk to everyone all the time on all the issues, maybe like Force the Vote is an example. What's the ratio? How many Force the Vote followers are worth one person that says they're for Cuban liberation because maybe their family has a financial interest in having that done? I'd just like to know, just so that we can understand what to ask of you.
Yeah. And by the way, before we end this segment, just a heads up to any candidate that's progressive and running in the Democratic Party, and this even goes for third parties, non-affiliate, Green, Moving for People's Party, Socialist Alternative, DSA, or Libertarian Party. Hang on. I'll ask them, hey, are you for Force to Vote? Because I'm tired of just all this kind of wish-washy answers. Are you for Force to Vote for Medicare for All? If the Force to Vote scenario ever happens. That even goes to the progressives who are running in the Democratic Party. Don't give me a wish-wash answer. Don't say this or that. That's going to be the question I'm going to ask you because I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of these progressives who put out these weird tweets, who just put out feel-good tweets and then say that people like Bill Kristol are very thought-provoking and, kind of really help defend liberalism.
Might be a good way to rephrase that question for them that they might have a harder time saying no to.
Good. I want to make their lives difficult.
Would you make a task that makes your reelection impossible to do something that might save 10,000 people?
Oof. Beautiful. I'm writing that down when this video is clipped. There we go. There we go. I'm writing that down because I'm tired of this. I'm tired of these progressive lawmakers or quote-unquote progressive lawmakers who say they fight for us. Can we pull up that tweet again from Representative Ro Khanna real quick? But because I'm just, again, annoyed by it. Just annoyed by it right here. Let's scroll up to the beginning right there. I was a strong and early critic of the war in Iraq, and Kristol and I have very different worldviews on foreign policy. But to have a discussion about strengthening liberalism and liberal institutions with people you disagree is, in my view, needed in a pluralistic democracy. Let's talk about what Bill Kristol helped support, the war in Iraq. And now we are in 7 different conflicts across the world. That's what we're involved in, thanks to Democratic and Republican lawmakers. Hey, Ro Khanna. We're the richest country in the world, and we don't have Medicare for all. What's your status? What's your opinion
he has healthcare.
On Medicare for all?
He's okay. He's doing okay.
He's
fine.
all right.
Yeah,
all right. He has Medicare for all. These are our lawmakers. # general strike. With that being said, we're going to move on now to our next segment. Before we do, I'm a little angry. I'm trying to be calm here, but I'm a little angry. I want to acknowledge some people who gave us a chat. Shout out to Aaron Albrecht. $5. Hey, I will be at the March for Medicare for All march in Chicago. I can't wait to see you and shake you guys' hand. So thank you so much. We do appreciate the YouTube super chat. To anyone that is attending the March for Medicare for All here in Chicago, again, be sure to check out the website. There are some rules. Be sure to wear a mask. Be sure to be safe. It's probably going to be, a hot July Saturday. So be sure to bring some water and let's all, enjoy it. There's going to be a lot of great speakers there, and I'm looking forward to attending. I know Daniel's looking forward to attending. And check out our interview that we did with the March for Medicare for All organizers. It's on our YouTube page, and plus also Chicago Corner did an interview as well. So let's pull up Odyssey now. Let's see what's happening on the Odyssey page. Oh, there we go. Shout out to the Whitefeld DM. 2 library tokens. Thank you so much. All right. The crew here at Odyssey demands that you throw away your weak, insignificant cup on the floor and replace it with an extremely coveted Harlan's Media mug. Daniel, do the thing, Jack. Come on, Jack. Do the thing.
And then have some.
There you go. How is it? It's nutritious?
It's water, but it is 10% better for sure.
Then that's a scientific fact.
Yeah. I hope you guys can see the asterisk.
There you go. All right. With that being said, Daniel, you got a story for the people. What's going on, buddy?
Okay, so this was a bit of a positive story. It's one of those classic stories we have in America when they are positive, where it's good. It's not everything we want. It's better, a little better than we expected, but it is something, and it is good to see the scope of these programs grow and expand. And I have, of course, talking about California is in the process of that's just approved the biggest UBI in the U.S., which again is not saying all that much, but it is nonetheless that thing that we just said. So let's talk about it. Washington lawmakers on Thursday approved the first state-funded guaranteed income plan for the U.S., $35 million for monthly cash payments to qualifying pregnant people and young adults who recently left foster care with no restrictions on how they spend it. So it's not quite universal right off the bat, but there is a basic income component to it. But seems to be how these things work. First, they'll do like tiny little areas. We'll test it out, and then it will be private money, then public money. And now we're hitting a spot where like, okay, pregnant women and people who have no parents get to try it now. So the votes, 36-0 in the Senate and 64-0 in the Assembly, show bipartisan support for an idea that is gaining momentum across the country. Dozens of local programs have sprung up in recent years, including some that have been privately funded, making it easier for elected officials to sell the public on the idea, which is kind of funny because if it's private money, it sells itself to some degree. But if you're looking for the stats on our foster youth, they are devastating. Senate Republican leader Scott Wilk said we should be doing all we can to lift up these young people up. It's maybe the most positive thing I've heard a Republican lawmaker say about a younger generation in a while, at least. Local governments and organizations will apply for the money and run their programs. The State Department of Social Services will decide who gets funding. So it's like when they're calling it a UBI, it's just a BI. I mean, we're just getting right into it. California lawmakers left it up to local officials to determine the size of the monthly payments, which generally range from $500 to $1,000 in existing programs around the country. The vote came on the same day millions of parents began receiving their first monthly payments under a temporary expansion of the federal child tax credit, many view as a form of guaranteed income. So, it's not everyone's talking, it's a UBI. It's very alarming. Not a UBI. This is very much not a UBI. This is a eligibility program of the people who are deemed eligible by the programs, and then the programs that okay their programs, they're getting access to the free use of $500 to $1,000 based on their local governments. So this is a government money program that you're free to use how you wish, and that's not quite UBI. But it is still the largest experiment of its kind in the U.S., and we did see the steps on how this went with legalization of cannabis, how it started with, okay, maybe we're people that are dying of cancer, maybe they should get the ability to try. Can't. Okay, well, how about people with really terrible other conditions, like really terrible? Okay, well, okay. Oh, well, how about people that have PTSD? How about we get to a certain mental? Let's get to that. And so we see this little gradual expansion, and it would be crazy if it's like we look back and like you just like imagine like right now where we were before cannabis was ever legalized in any state, and it was just starting to be decriminalized, or the talks for it were getting more reasonable. How we all kind of felt, maybe we're in that same period, and in 5 or 10 years down the line, we're going to go, oh, yeah, back then is where it all started. I don't know. I kind of want to leave it up to you guys what you think about it, but I think this is positive.
I know that there's a short video from Case Study QB that we have. Let's try and pull
this will
that
go
up
for
too.
a little bit as well.
So this will explain it just a little bit about why does, I guess, UBI or BI, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, let's hear from mainstream media what their take is.
Again, shout out to Case Study QB. Be sure to follow him on Twitter. Let's play this video.
California taking the first $35 million step towards state-funded guaranteed income. The first in the nation program lawmakers approved today will benefit pregnant individuals and young adults aged out of foster care. Payments will generally range from $500 to $1,000 a month, with no restrictions on how that money is spent. And if you have children, check your bank account.
Okay,
Federal tax credits.
Okay, so she's luckily saying all the stuff that I said. So we don't see mainstream media. I think we're set.
All right, corporate media once again, I guess, spewing out things that we already know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you want to like just like, hey, I didn't understand that story.
Well, you know,
I need to watch mainstream news.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. You know, universal basic income. We've seen it work in other countries, especially in 2020. We've covered numerous stories. Countries in Canada.
We haven't really had it.
Yeah.
We haven't even have it. I mean, Canada had it.
Canada had it.
We had
other countries had.
Hey, are you these conditions? Then you get some money.
Well, let's see. We got one in March of 2020. Then we got another one in December. Then we got another one. I think again. When was the last time we got the other? I think April.
I was
or
never
something?
eligible, so I don't know.
Yeah. So all we know is we got 3, and they were all under.
Well, we know. I'm gonna separate myself from that discussion.
Well, I guess in theory, the media, the government was saying Americans in general, so we're supposed to get 3.
I'm not a general though.
You're not a general.
No.
Well, anyways, point is, some people got UBI. Well, not even. I wouldn't even call that stimulus. We just got some stimulus, or some people got stimulus. While the rest of Americans were left, on their own. And to be very clear, our government did abandon us, but other countries, other governments took care of their people. Case in point, Canada, where they did have a universal basic income program. Same thing like other countries that were part of the European Union. So the thing is, UBI is not a joke. And it's something that can help people, and it's not going to make people lazy. You know, I mean, I remember when you did that one story on Canada where they were going over like the people and how they were reacting to getting UBI, and what were they all saying? Our lives are less stressful. I don't have to worry about paying bills. I can start focusing on other things. And you know, in this day and age where everything is going to become automation, and everything's moving to online, and more Americans are losing their jobs. Let's face it, we're going to need to have some kind of universal basic income that's going to keep up with inflation.
Yeah.
So whatever that's going to look like, it has to succeed. But, you know, here in Chicago, when that was brought up, our wonderful Mayor Lori Lightfoot, said no to it.
Yeah, again, it's like we're right at this. Potentially we're at a cusp point where California does it first. But I think that just to nip the thing that everyone always says, you can't give people free money. They'll just turn into a blob inexplicably
and
with
again,
enough
how?
money per month to not get an apartment in most places in the country. It'll just stop them from working. Again, what a UBI really does when it's done correctly with a federal jobs guarantee is make it so that you don't have to take it from your boss at work. If you have a really terrible job, if you could quit at any time and always have some amount of cushion, that's something that they don't want. I think I saw someone said that it's like they are testing how much they can give to keep us quiet. Here are some scraps. Please don't unite against us. It's crazy if we get to a point then, if it's under those circumstances, where they put out a UBI because people are just starving. But we're in interesting times.
Well, here's another example. Driving to the studio, it's great. There's a wonderful pride coming here, doing this work that we do here. But when driving here, again, underneath the viaducts, underneath the bridges, you're seeing more tents being put up. We're seeing more businesses being shut down. We're seeing more homes being foreclosed on. This is something that's happening in the city of Chicago. And this is not just a Chicago problem. This is a national problem. And it's becoming worse. And 30 to 40 million Americans are still at risk of being evicted from their homes, from their apartments. So, yeah, we need a universal basic income. And no, we should not be getting scraps. No, we should not be begging. We should be demanding for more. Hashtag a general strike, because it needs to happen. I'm tired of seeing people get hurt. I'm tired of seeing these excuses from our politicians saying, "Oh, well, we wish we could do this, but the Republican lawmakers are doing this, or these conservative Democrats are doing this, or oh no, the Senate parliamentarian, someone who's a non-elected official, is saying, oh no, we can't do that either." No more excuses. In the richest country in the world, if we could bail out the banks, the corporations, if we can fund endless wars, you're telling me we don't have the money to take care of our people? The richest country in the world.
Well, that's how we became the richest country in the world, by not taking care of our people.
Right.
It's all about, don't think of it as like, what's that metaphor? It's like we're putting manure. It's like, why would you ever spread manure over your entire field to have all the crops grow when you could just have a giant pile of manure that you can go, I have that giant pile of manure that's smothering the plants beneath it.
Yeah. And that's our that's who our lawmakers are. That's their mindset. Because we have a bunch of politicians who are in their 80s and 90s, who are from a different generation, from a different time, have a different type of mentality, and are incapable of adapting to this ever-changing world. These are our lawmakers that are protected by the neoliberal establishment, who are against universal basic income, who are against Medicare for all, who are against student debt forgiveness. We don't owe them a damn thing. Hashtag general strike. No more excuses. And I'm very curious to see what kind of plans they're going to use or what kind of carrots they're going to wave in front of us during the 2022 midterm election cycle.
And again, we all need to stand together, group together, get more people to fight. We need to win by winning. We don't win by thinking that we'll yell at something long enough. We need to give politicians no choice but follow us or lose their seats, and that means we have to build up the power base to do that. So let's do it.
Let's make it happen. Let's move on now to our next segment. Before we do, let's acknowledge everything that's happening on Odyssey and Rockfin as well. We got something here on Odyssey. Shout out to the Whitefell DM.
It looks like he either sent this message 4 times or it's Odyssey's acting weird, but it's the exact same message.
Okay, so it looks like the same message
but
from
here,
before about water, so I'm just going to take 4 sips.
All right, so here, I'm going to read it out loud. The crew here at Odyssey demand that you throw away your weak and insignificant cup on the floor and replace it with an extremely rare and coveted Hardlands Media mug. Daniel, you got to do the thing, Jack.
Doing it fast
do
as
the
I
thing,
can drink.
Jack. Come on. That's a Hardlands Media mug. There you go. Speaking truth to power. There you go. How is it? Fantastic. How is it, buddy?
Very nice.
Very nice. There you go. See? Hardlands Media mug right there.
You can get them in the description down below. It's the only thing we've been selling in the store this month.
That's fine.
You want to guess how many we've sold?
Sure. All right. Shoot.
I asked you.
Do I know how many?
I'm asking you to guess.
Hold on. I'm gonna say 1.
2.
2?
We've sold 2.
High five mountain, buddy. There you go. There you go. Hey, Fox News. We're business people. There you go, Fox News. Okay.
Also, yeah, but yeah, if you wanna support us, definitely Patreon. But if you really want to get some cool merch and swag, we have more stuff than just mugs.
By the way, Danny,
stickers, shirts.
Are you
pants,
drinking
leggings.
vodka or water?
Always water. Vodka is. I'm not a big alcohol drinker.
Yeah.
So
I would have vodka.
I do it sort of socially, but it's.
There you go.
I'm very hard to sedate in that way. And it's just calories that I would prefer to be in other forms effectively.
Ah, okay.
So
Not vodka. Sorry. It's only H2O, which is becoming a rare commodity.
there is some HO and H3O in that cup though, just a very small amount.
All right, there you go. All right, let's go ahead and move on now to our next segment. So apparently this was happening over the weekend. SOS USA was a hashtag that was trending. You had a lot of socialists and, a lot of people reaching out on social media. American plea to the international community for help achieving freedom becomes top political social media trend. Again, this is an article from RT America. So whatever you do, don't tell Rachel Maddow, don't tell TYT. They might scream from the rooftop that Putin has invaded the internet, even though...
Hey, by the way, can I just give like a shout out just in general and just want to say, you guys do know, like, Russia's, like, first of all, as I've already said, a country with a GDP smaller than South Korea, which is just not that impressive to me that much. Their main industry is selling gas and having large amounts of nuclear weapons. That's kind of their thing. They
And
also
vodka.
Yeah, I mean that's an export that they have too, but other places do that as well. Russia's going to be it's like I just feel like I have to say this. Russia exists. I'm really sorry, Rachel. I'm really sorry, everyone. Russia just exists, and you have to deal with it existing.
By the way, all those who are peddling Russiagate, please tell us where Russia hurt you. So anyways, there you go. The hashtag SOSUSA became one of Twitter's top political trends this weekend as thousands of Americans posted calling for freedom in the United States and protesting poverty, police brutality, and lack of free health care. Again, in the richest country in the world, we have people going into poverty, no Medicare for all, etc. Many of the posts were in response to the videos of a Los Angeles police officer shooting a protester in the face at close range with a rubber bullet and attacking other protesters with clubs. Several tweets from self-described American communists called on foreign leaders, including Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel.
There's the irony. Cuba's like, you know what? We won't become a state. How about you become our state?
Chinese President Xi Jinping. Oh my God, they're calling on everybody to condemn U.S. police brutality or even liberate the country. And again, there's a video right there that's showing what happened. I think if you do want to watch it, viewer discretion is advised. But let's go ahead and I've just played a few short seconds of it. It's very difficult to watch, but this is happening right now. Not in Cuba, not in France, not anywhere else. This is happening here in the United States.
By the way, I appreciate in France the police genuinely looks terrified.
Yeah. So let's play this video. This is here in the United States, unfortunately. Play that video.
They just shot at point blank range.
Look at how terrified those cops are.
Pause it.
Look at them. They're just like they wake up. They're terrified. They beat their wife. They're terrified. They eat their morning cereal. They're terrified. They run someone over. They're terrified. They go to precinct. They feel pretty comfortable, actually. They got the new margarita they got from the guy that they seized cash from. Then they go outside and they're beat. They're terrified. They get back in their squad car. They're terrified. Then they have protester who's standing with the side, and that is just absolutely terrifying and must be shot right in the face.
Again.
Coward.
Yeah. Let's scrolling down even further because again the same videos, but it's from different angles, is being played. And again, this is happening in our country, the richest country in the world. Other posts focused on poverty in the United States, the country's lack of free health care, especially during the COVID-19, as well as homelessness crisis that's happening. If we scroll, you'll see a bunch of images and tweets where again you have people calling out the fact that we have abandoned our citizens. We don't have health care. We don't have Medicare for all. We don't have affordable education. Our people, there's 30 to 40 million Americans that are at risk of being evicted. I keep saying this on every show, but it's very important that we remember this, that, again, these evictions are taking place. Even if they're not happening en masse, they are taking place across the country. And our politicians are only tweeting out feel-good tweets or wonderful conversations that they're having with warmongers. Khanna, that's you. That's you, Khanna. By the way, there's something that did catch my attention about our progressive lawmakers. That's somewhat connected with this story. They used to follow a lot of progressives, especially during 2016 and 2020, activists, community organizers, and then drop them like that as soon as the election was over.
Yeah, Rules for Rulers, everyone, go check it out. What effectively this would be described as the coup, and the coup would be taking over an existing congressional person, AOC, took over whatever his name was. Khanna took over whoever he replaced. I just don't know it off the top of my head. And what happens, the same people that got him elected in the first place, that put him in office for the first time, is not the same audience in his mind as he needs to be reelected. The people that he needs to go with, well, it's the same keys that he replaced. That's why all these people have this air of genuineness behind them when they're getting elected, because they genuinely are backed by the right people. But then as soon as they get in, this is, of course, the issue that Justice Democrats ran into and everyone else, is that they didn't think about this, is once this person's elected, how do we keep them connected to us? And no one has... I'm still waiting. I'm just waiting for someone to explain to me how they've done well when they can't do this very important part of, I don't know, make sure they keep doing the right thing. Because we're so used to getting... This is part of the reason why I still think there's a chance of electoral politics, is because everyone's failed. They just they got so brought together by just getting someone in. They never thought about what next. We need to be in positions as communities that when these people get elected, they don't change their allegiance into something a little more easy to maintain themselves. If they go against the community and the people that elect them, they should know that they're not getting reelected. If we cannot instill that in our politicians, how can we ever get them to do what we want?
One other thing, too. When it comes down to these progressive lawmakers who are supposed to fight for us, when push came to shove, they did not show up for the Force the Vote town hall.
Yeah.
Where 100,000 plus people attended. And yet we're still doing regime change wars, but yet you have people like AOC who says that Biden's doing exceeding expectations and that they're happy with whatever little scraps they're getting. This is not how you run a country, especially the richest country in the world.
I'm still on the fact that I think, at least with the current way that everything's put together, America would be better run if we just randomly picked it's like maybe we randomly pick 5 people in like a district, and then we each give each of them like $20,000 in free airtime on TV and say, go forth, make your claim. That way everyone still has a choice to vote, but it's a random pick. So good luck building power that way, and this assumes that we have a system that'll maintain that. But you get what I'm saying.
I also want to read the last 2 excerpts from this article. The social media trend started, SOS USA. It was in response to the Cuban SOS hashtag, which was used by American politicians and Cuban exiles to highlight pro-U.S. protests and demand U.S. intervention against the Cuban government. On Saturday, Cuba's own Director General of U.S. Affairs questioned on Twitter whether humanitarian intervention in the state of Florida is in order after it's revealed that Florida now counts for 20% of the new COVID-19 cases in the United States.
You know who could really help with that? Cuba.
Those Cuban doctors, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, look, there's no such thing as a perfect country. There's no such thing as perfection. It doesn't exist.
Especially when we have the problems America has. Deal internally first.
Yeah, deal internally. And here's the thing. Cuba has doctors. And during COVID-19, what did Cuba do, especially during 2020? Oh, that's right. They sent their doctors out. Excuse me. Live on air for the second time. I think I sneezed.
Hey, someone, we need a Cuban doctor in here.
Yeah, hashtag Cuban doctors to help us out.
It's like, hey, man, I'd like to... If you don't need equipment, it's probably just cheaper and better to get a Cuban doctor at this point in time. So
again, this is only the beginning. So all these politicians that are tweeting out these feel-good tweets, it's not going to work. It's not working anymore. People are catching on to your little game, and we're sick of it. We're going to move on now to our next segment. Before we do, let's go ahead and pull up Odyssey and as well as Rockfin. Do we have anything on Odyssey or Rockfin? Okay, all right, very good. Be sure to everyone check out...
someone had mentioned earlier to refresh Odyssey. If there's anything there to refresh worthy.
Oh, we got a stream live chat.
There
oh, my
we go.
goodness. Oh, okay, let's go ahead and acknowledge that. Who is that from?
This is from Wendy Carballo.
Hey.
Oh, let's actually show them the awesome image, too. Oh, it's a dancing alligator.
Oh yeah, you got that.
All right, cool. There you go. Is that
Wendy says, "Here's a bit for the beverage of your choice. Apparently not vodka."
Yeah. Oh no, I'll have some more of this delicious water. I very much enjoy water in my life. Every day I'm drinking water, all the time. I'm usually drinking about 1.5 gallons a day.
Oh wow.
I love water. It's very addicting.
The little Wikipedia fact that no one knows.
Well, I
there you
think
go.
a few people know.
Okay,
but,
well, there you go.
But so yes, it's for a lot of new people. This
Yes.
is a new fact on me.
And-
I very much enjoy water.
And I am
iced
seeing,
water especially.
and I am seeing our volcano logo pop up too, and that's I guess for when we get a new subscriber. #volcano party. There you go.
Yeah. Everyone
All right.
can enjoy a nice volcano party in their spare time.
Oh my goodness, what's going on?
We really need a doctor. here.
Cuban doctor. All right, don't worry.
Oh, there we
let's
go.
go ahead. Pull up Odyssey. Cool. Let's go see what's happening with our lovelies on Odyssey. All right. Shout out to the Whitefeld DM. The Odyssey platform now allows viewers to choose how they wish to support our creators with a brand new feature. Choose either US dollar or the library coin. Oh, wow. Odyssey takes 0% of either donation. Enjoy GIFs or GIFs, however which way you want to call them. Memes or memes, however which way you want to call them. They're called memes. And the unparalleled freedom.
Or unparalleled freedom.
Or the unparalleled freedom. Fight the evil planet YouTube's diabolical censorship, oppressive cancel culture. Thank you
There we
so
go.
much. Whitefeld DM, be sure to check out his YouTube channel. Be also sure to check out some of your other fellow content creators because the YouTube censorship is real and it's impacting a lot of our fellow colleagues. I know recently Nico House, he did a live stream as well. And, you know, YouTube has kept on hitting him and all the other channels with Mikasa Tsukasa censored, and it's not right. It's not fair. And I'm going to be working on trying to get Nico House on our channel so that we can speak to him because he was kind enough to help us out when we were being censored. We're going to do the same thing, too, because no one should be censored, and I'm against what YouTube is doing to its content creators, not just independent media, but every single content creator in that genre. We got to stop censorship, and it's not right. With that being said, Daniel, you got a story for the people. What is going on?
Got our last story of the day. So I read this, and I'm only doing this story because I was really surprised we had any honor left in this country. And I thought this was exactly what we were going to do because I remember even when Vietnam happened, we at least brought some Vietnamese that helped us by just the landing bars or whatever they're called of the helicopters, like the Hueys when we were leaving. They're like, please, the Vietnamese people are like, hey, we did help you. We're going to get killed if you don't take us with. And we're like, some of you, okay. So that's what this story is about. So the U.S. has decided it will not abandon 70,000 or so Afghan allies to the wolves as they leave. So there are a number of people in Afghanistan that do think the American dream is worthwhile and have, in many cases, helped us as translators or other things. And they're probably in terrible, terrible peril. I mean, let's be completely honest. It's always how it happens. So the Biden administration will begin evacuating thousands of Afghans who worked for the U.S. government later this month, ahead of the August 31st deadline for the end of the U.S. military operations in Afghanistan. Current and former Afghan translators, interpreters, and others who have worked with the U.S. government in Afghanistan are facing deadly danger as the U.S. drawdown continues and the Taliban reclaims territory. It's amazing. It's as soon as we're not there, things kind of go back to as they were. What a crazy thing in Afghanistan. Once controlled by Afghan and coalition forces. I was actually listening to a video of someone who had served in Afghanistan, and his thing was like 95% or 90% of the troopers that they would go on patrols with, they were just there either because they needed a paycheck or just they kind of got roped into it. And he's like, there's 5%, as he put it, that would actually really seem to care about the work. It's like those are the people you got to get out because they're going to get. Thanks, America, for setting this entire situation up. By the way, as Task and Purpose reported this month, an estimated 70,000 Afghans who worked for the U.S. and their family members are at risk of being killed as the Taliban push for final victory. Because of that danger, according to senior administration officials, flights for, quote, interested and eligible Afghan nationals and their families who have supported the United States and our partners in Afghanistan and are in the special immigrant visa application pipeline. So again, it's basically a UBI in California then, will begin in the last week of July as part of Operation Allies Refuge. The Special Immigrant Visa, or SIV, program allows Afghans who work or worked by or on behalf of the U.S. government in Afghanistan, as well as family members, to qualify for visas as lawful permanent residents of the U.S. Our message for those women and men is clear, President Joe Biden said in a speech about Afghanistan earlier this month. There is a home for you in the United States, except Kamala, who might want to try and keep you out, as she tried to say in the border.
Stay home or don't come.
Yeah. If it's funny how we're like, oh, yes, no, we're directly responsible for you guys dying if we don't leave, so you can come with us. Hey, countries whose governments we overthrew a couple times, stay out. Anyway, on Thursday, the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters that some 20,000 Afghans have applied for the SIVs so far, though the number eligible is likely far greater, potentially as many as 100,000 people. So when I read this, at least, just because I have such a low expectation of what we do, I've been expecting this whole time that we were just going to abandon all these people who we put in this really terrible spot by our invasion on top of people that were killed in the invasion, that now they're like, oh, you're now affiliated with the U.S. It's not going to be helpful when the U.S. base is gone. Of course, we're leaving our lovely diplomatic place there. So I sort of don't feel good. I don't feel bad. It's just like this is a terrible situation that everything that has led up to this has been a travesty. So at least America's willing to like keep these people from dying after we leave, if they so choose to come.
All right. So 20 years being in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
We haven't accomplished anything.
I mean, literally, the second we pull out, take it back over.
Yeah, Taliban is taking over again. The guy that we were looking for was in Pakistan. Osama bin Laden was in Pakistan. He left Afghanistan. And then, in fact, there was this one small window, especially early 2001, when we were first going into Afghanistan. We had him cornered. There was a PBS documentary that came out, I think a year ago. Not a year ago, but in 2002 it came out. And how basically we almost had Osama bin Laden. And then what happens? 2012 is when Osama bin Laden was taken care of.
So again, we've killed a bunch of people. We burnt trillions of dollars. We killed our own soldiers. We took a country that wasn't very stable and just destabilized it. We didn't defeat the resistance at all in any real possible way. We never won hearts and minds, although we didn't really do a good job of trying. We just sunk enormous amounts of money in projects that had no purpose or use. And we took over an entire country that had nothing really to do with anything that we were trying to do, and we didn't know the person that we were supposed to be there for anyway wasn't even there. But at least we're allowing a couple thousand to the U.S. where it's really good here. I mean, maybe by comparison, compared to what they might have to be going through, it's really nice. But I don't know how to feel on this. I mean, I'm glad that it's happening, but I hate everything that led up to this happening.
Again, there's a lot of people that, especially who were helping out U.S. forces, they took a huge risk. To do so. And, while it might be a different scenario when I was in Iraq, my time in the green zone, like a lot of translators, a lot of people who lived in Iraq who were there helping out the U.S. forces, they were taking a huge risk too, helping us out. And again, this is a situation that the U.S. put itself in, and now we have to follow through to make sure that these 70,000 people in Afghanistan are protected and taken care of.
Yeah,
they helped us out. We gotta take care of them. And the thing is, somewhere around, the back of my mind is just thinking, how is the U.S. government going to screw up? How are they going to screw this up?
You know what I know? You know how we're going to screw it up? You know what we're going to read stories of in the next couple of years after this happens? Tell me if you think this is right or not. Let's say Afghan commits jaywalking, sent back to Afghanistan. Afghan can't maintain working requirement, doesn't get job. Family sent back to Afghanistan. That's, I think, what we're going to see out of this in the future.
Oh, God. I really hope you're wrong on that, but I could see the U.S. government screwing up.
Because
hurting
you know
these
how we
people,
are
yeah.
with visas. We're happy, it's great, you're a refugee, until you do something the U.S. government doesn't like.
All right, and yeah, so there we go.
We got this will be a good question. So we're done with the segment from Monarch.
All right, yeah, from Monarch. Hold on, what's it? Question for Kit. What was your reason you decided to join the military in the first place? Just wondering. College. Also,
Healthcare.
well, I wouldn't go hell. I wouldn't think it. I didn't know too much about policy or politics at the time. All right, especially in my early 20s. I was like 19 at the time, so no, I wasn't. No, I wasn't that policy aware, about what was going on. But I wanted to go to college. I wanted, I don't know, adventure. Looking back in my younger self, I gotta say it was just, why not? I was thinking that. I was thinking about going to college and
you also had some family tradition. You were following.
I had my great grandpa. He served in World War I. He was part of the Siberian expedition. I know one of our favorite YouTube channels, Kings and Generals, actually did a documentary series on the Siberian expedition. And I actually found his discharge papers, as well as, I think, another document indicating that he was part of the Siberian campaign. That was like, wow. That was a rare find. It was perfectly sealed in this document, and now I got it in another airtight seal. So there we go. My father, he served in Nam. My grandpa's cousin, he served in the South Pacific. He was in the Marine Corps, and he actually, from what I remember, he almost served in every single island campaign.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not all of them, but enough to where, he came home. Spoiler alert, he came home. But
that's impressive.
there we
to
go.
survive that.
And my uncle Bernie, who passed away last year in September, he was part of the United States Air Force. Army Air Force before the Air Force became its own branch, and he did service in Japan. So,
and you were telling me he took photos of after post Hiroshima.
Yes, he was around that area. Plus, he was also post-war Japan too, a lot of other areas. So he was near Hiroshima and a few other areas too. I forget. I think maybe Kyoto, and I think maybe I'm forgetting the other two cities. But he was there for like 4 to 6 years.
Okay.
That's what I remember. I got to look at the document. Otherwise, I think I'm getting dementia now. And that's just a little short history. So a little bit of family tradition, a little bit of adventure, and to go to college. So Monarch, I hope that answers your question. So there we go.
I feel like in a lot of ways it's a very common answer that people would give because someone in their family did it, and because of the benefits that we should get as Americans, but we don't.
So there we go. I guess I could. The only thing I could say is like my first tour, I was living in Saddam Hussein's palace or one of his palaces in the basement, like a millennial. So there we go.
Hey, we're still in the basement, everyone.
That's right. In Saddam, his palace was pretty cool, man.
I bet it was.
Yeah, I gotta show you some of the pictures. Did I ever show you the pictures?
You showed me a couple.
I did.
I haven't seen all of them.
See, I'm getting dementia. I'm forgetting everything now. All right, we got something here on the Rockfin. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Let's see. We got Valerie Denson tipped $5. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work. Well, all of
Thank
you
you.
keep up the great work. We're very appreciative of all the support that we're getting here at Heartlands Media and at the 99 Perspective Studio. There's a lot that we're working on, some projects that we got to still keep on the hush, but it's if everything works out, we got some big announcements, but otherwise we gotta keep quiet. But be sure to check out our other fun channel, Chicago Corner, which is doing a lot of good things. And again, we want that channel to grow. And here's hoping we could do more. We said, Daniel, do we have any other announcements to share with the people?
Not really. I think that that's a good amount of announcements.
All right, cool. All right, well, with that being said, we are going to be ending this show. We're very appreciative of everyone joining us here at Heartlands Media. I want to give a special thanks to Daniel Lupker. Shout out to all the moderators, Fred Edward, Ayana, Gamer for Life, E. Heller. Shout out to our tech priest Sincere Face remaining the board. Shout out to the Whitefeld DM, who's one of our moderators on the Odyssey platform. We're live every Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube, on Odyssey, and on Rockfin. My name's Kit Cabell, the host of Heartlands Media. We got a Patreon show. Peace to you guys, and let us all do what we can to build a better future.